Hello and welcome to Dynamic GT League's race 8 of 9 of the Group 4 Championship from the Redbull Ring. Let's have a quick look at the driver standings. Demonar leading the way on 131 points from DGT League SGP. If Demonar scores 4 points more than SGP, the title will be his. Take a quick look at the qualifying order, and SGP took pole position from Demonar, Hulkenberg in 3rd and Twilight in 4th. Let's hand over to our commentary team. So the drivers are ready then. SGP on pole position, Demonar in 2nd place and Hulkenberg in 3rd as we wait for the drivers to get going. And away they go, but it's a poor start for everybody in an Audi. Demonar takes the lead. SRI has a fantastic start. Up to 2nd place is he into turn 1, James.
Yeah, James Hulkenberg lost out there and has been nudged off there by Twilight in 4th place.
Yeah, Ghostbusters getting a little bit frisky on RC. The sponsors have changed. Oh, this is a little bit too close for comfort, I think, for Twilight. Nally on one side, Hulkenberg on the other. Steve F1 trying to get involved in this as well. And in the background, we've got Mustangs making contact. And Bunsel all out of shape, but he's collected it before the breaking point.
Yeah, so Twilight's run wide there. Is he going to come back on safely? I don't think so. I think a bit of a crash there against Steve F1.
I think SGP, though, is fighting for retaking the lead down into turn 3. Yes, he is up the inside in another new livery on his Audi, and he does retake the lead with SGP currently running super soft tyres. Demonar on the soft tyre trying to fight back, and we've got Nally deep into the gravel.
Yeah, you don't want to be out there, and SGP is through, but it's going to be tight and twisty, and that Jaguar, it is good, but is it good enough to beat the Audi?
I'm not so sure, considering that at least half the grid is in the Audi today, but SGP now up in the lead, needs to outscore Demonar by a hell of a lot of points, as it looks like we've got Fake Taxi chasing the police down for 5th and 6th.
Yeah, it's getting very, very close for 5th. 5th place, James Hulkenberg pulls out up the inside. Can he leave room on the exit?
He does. Drew making his debut here at the Redbull Ring. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on as he goes wide, and Dave the Harp in a similar livery. Oh, you had to do it, didn't you, James? Similar livery again. How can those two words come into another race? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, as you can see though, Dave.
Oh, Twilight!
Oh, yeah, Twilight in the background on Bunsel made the move.
That he did. So yeah, I was mentioning that Drew. Oh, Steve F1 looks like he's got a run on SRI into turn 3. Has he? Yes, side by side they go. Steve F1, he's going to have to go around the outside. But that Audi is so good on the brakes. And SRI has to kind of concede. And in the background, Hulkenberg, Dave the Harp, Drew, Rich Blues all getting closer as Bunsel trying to attack Rich Blues. Twilight struggling a little bit with turn 2.
Yeah, Rich Blues side by side with Bunsel. But we know that Mustang can pull it in a straight line. Can the Audi out horsepower the Mustang?
He's trying to overtake the other Mustang. Oh, that's so close. I think Drew may have just dipped the gravel as well, as Dave the Harp is trying to attack James Hulkenberg. But Twilight, first time racing the Audi, I think, this season for Twilight, and making good use of it. Didn't have the greatest of starts, but he is fighting his way back through the order. Yeah, so there's a bit of a gaggle now behind James Hulkenberg. He doesn't seem to have the pace of the front runners in 5th place, and he's a bit of a cork in the bottle at the moment. He is. Now, you mentioned about the front runners. SGP is opening up a little bit of a gap to Demonar, and Steve F1 is pulling away from SRI as well. Or as Rich Blues runs wide, they're not going to try and go 5 wide into the last corner, are they? No, 3 wide instead. Oh, that
surprise they survived.
Yeah, they did well there, to be honest, to manage to get round that corner and stay on the track. Fair play to them.
Yeah, but it's all going to go down into turn 1, and this is really a single file corner. If you're going to try it around the outside, you're going to have to go wide.
And that is exactly what a couple of drivers have had to do. It's not as easy to go through there side by side, as you mentioned, James. It can be done, but you have to slow down so much. If you've got any cars behind you, you're going to get attacked, as Dave the Harp even closer to Hulkenberg. Side by side they go. But James Hulkenberg got the racing line quite nicely there. David Hart can't do anything about it, and Nally in the Aston Martin are beginning to close on these two.
David Hart's very close. It could get in the slipstream and manage to get past, and a lovely sponsor there on the roof.
I'm saying absolutely nothing. As Drew in the background having a look up the inside of Nally. David Hart trying to have a look around the outside of Hulkenberg, but he's round wide into the gravel. He's going to come under pressure now from Drew, Bunsel, Twilight and Nally.
Yeah, that were really. I know he were quicker than James Hulkenberg there, but the last thing he wanted to do was run that wide onto the gravel.
It's easily done though in turn 3, isn't it? You get slightly off the racing line onto the marbles and away you go, and I'm gonna sneeze.
Oh, so here goes Dave the Arp. He's also on the marbles there, but he's off the racing line. He's up the inside for the penultimate corner, and here comes Bunsell.
He did well, Bunsell, to back out of it. You know, Nally though, he went a little bit deep into the corner. Dave Hart running wide. That's made Twilight run wide as well. And here comes Bunsell. But yeah, Bunsell did well to get on the brakes and realise that it wasn't going to work down there. But 3 wide isn't going to work into turn 1 either. So they do shuffle down into a little more single file, and that'll benefit them more on the straights. It'll benefit them more as well if they manage to stay on the racetrack.
Yeah, so Twilight I think he may possibly be helping Dave Hart block the road at the moment, but Bunsell is coming, and Nally as well.
Nally's got nowhere to go though. He's boxed in with Twilight on one side, Bunsell on the other. Twilight trying to go around the outside, and he kind of didn't have any choice but to go off track there. There was just simply no space on the racetrack for him. Dave the Arp's got the slipstream on Drew though. This is absolutely frantic for 6th place here.
Yeah, this is quite chaotic is probably the best word to say, but yeah, Bunsell up the inside of Nally.
He is
quite good cornering in that Mustang through that corner. I was expecting him to understeer, but fairly decent there.
Well, Drew understeered, and Dave the Harp had to get on the brakes to not absolutely wipe him out, and that's what has created this traffic jam. I mean, it's interesting. Oof. I do know that Bunsell has had a little bit of help in setting up his car, which Drew may not have had. So Drew's car may understeer a little bit more, whereas Bunsell's may just have a slightly better turn in.
Yeah, so he's actually... we've got Nally up the inside of Drew. Drew's been forced off the circuit, and I think Nally ran wide a touch as well. I don't know if Nally's going to allow Drew pass, but it doesn't look like it.
It looks like as well that Twilight got a little bit physical through the final corner. So Drew in the state police car, if he is going to be driving a state police car, he's going to have to learn how to pit manoeuvre people.
Yeah, so James Hulkenberg was the cork in the bottle, but he's managed to pull a few car lengths over Dave the Arp. Dave the Arp's now the cork in the bottle for this pack. Yeah,
well, it's taken Dave a couple of laps to sort of fight his way back to the front of this as we go 3 wide. Oh, it's ever so close. Twilight keeps finding himself on the outside of the corner, and it's carnage at turn 2. I think Drew got massively out of shape, and I think he's slowing down as well to let a few cars by, realising that he had a little bit of an error there. But yeah, turn 2, Twilight keeps finding himself on the outside of the corner of like a 3 wide situation. It's not a good place to be.
Yeah, Rich Blues there. Oh, he's gone off. He's gone in the gravel.
He has, and Nally in the gravel as well. That's his second trip out there, so he'll know how to get back onto the track. And I'm going to have to hand over to you, James, while I go and blow my nose.
No problem. So here goes Drew then. He's running a touch wide there. This might give Twilight a run. Yeah, Twilight is through. And so is Steve F1, but Demon R is in P2 there. He's going for the pit lane. The pit crew are out, and I think it's going to be soft tyres going on his car as we are hearing that SGP started the race on super soft. So different strategies going on.
Yeah, Demon R's pitted earlier than he would usually pit by the looks of it if he's on the soft compound tyre, and this may be just sort of a tactic to try and get in the mind of SGP, because SGP is on the super soft tyre but he's going to go longer, so he's going to be wondering what Demon R is up to as Formula Gary, Drew and Bunsell get ever so close into turn 1. And by the way, James, did you realise that when you went no problem, you sounded just like the guy who goes, who lives in a house like this?
Oh, that's Grossman.
Grossman, yeah. His sources are terrible.
Who would drive a car like this?
Bunsell.
So yeah, Bunsell. Yeah, Bunsell coming under pressure now from Formula Gary in the black. No, Bunsell's coming back at Drew. So yeah, he's definitely sorted out his gear ratios because he's been able to overtake another Mustang.
That is very, very true. But Drew is fighting back up the inside of turn 3. It's pretty decent driving of Formula Gary in the Audi, trying to get in on this battle as well. Now, I do know that Bunsell and Formula Gary have been working a lot on sort of driving styles and techniques around this particular track. Demon R has been helping a few of the drivers out with a few racing tips and stuff like that. As SGP now, race leader, into the pits to get rid of his super soft tyre. So the question is, how much time has Demon R gained on SGP through this pit stop phase?
Yeah, it looks to me as if Demon R is closing in on James Hulkenberg, but the gap to the guys behind is so close.
He is now. Steve F1 has already pitted as well as Twilight heads into the pits. Yeah, Steve F1 has pitted and he's come out right at the front of this, the gaggle, the pack, the hunting pack as it should be known. So into the pits then, James Hulkenberg goes as well.
So yeah, SRI in the pits as well. I think he's gone on to the softs. He's just coming out just in front of James Hulkenberg. Just coming out behind this pack though, and they're going to have to muscle the way through with them new tyres, otherwise they're going to get stuck.
That they are. Now we can see on the track map in the top right corner that SGP has come out of the pits ahead of Demon R. There's about 2 seconds between them. But I wouldn't be surprised if SGP is just able to open up the gap. I mean, it is a surprise. As Formula Gary runs a little bit wide at turn 2, it is a bit of a surprise, James, that SGP is able to take his super soft tyres so much longer.
Yeah, just to let you know as well, I think SRI's cocked up at turn 2, and that's allowed James Hulkenberg through.
Yeah, Formula Gary went a little bit deep into turn 3. Yeah, he did. Into the gravel he goes, took Drew with him, but SRI is into the pack of cars, and Dave the Harp is now ahead of James Hulkenberg. Has Dave the Harp pitted?
No, he hasn't pitted yet, but SRI's get shoved there. A little bit of door-to-door wheel banging.
Yeah, by Hulkenberg. On the Terminator.
I don't think the Terminator will have appreciated that.
No, I must admit, out of all the liveries out there today, SRI's is one of my favourites. But to be fair, it looks like Bunsell is going to be heading to the pit lane, taking that tight line into the penultimate corner. Yeah, I've got to say though, I do like the look of DGT League SGP's livery as Dave the Harp's ran wide around the final corner and Hulkenberg is attacking down the start-finish straight into turn 1. It should be an easy pass if Dave the Harp is on the older tyres because he's going to have to brake a little bit earlier for turn 1.
Yeah, but the problem is you compromise out of the exit of turn 1, and this could really, really hurt James Hulkenberg because he's slow out of turn 1.
I was so tempted to say so many things then.
Davey Arp trying to come back here at James Hulkenberg side by side at turn 2.
And Drew is up the inside of SRI. SRI saw him coming and he went to do a switchback, but he's been spun around by Twilight. And I am hearing on the team radios that Twilight said, well, I had to hit him at least once in the race. It's become tradition.
So Davey Arp is side by side with James Hulkenberg again. I'm surprised James Hulkenberg hasn't been able to pull away from Dave the Harp because he's on fresher tyres.
That is very, very true, James. But, I mean, Dave the Harp is a very accomplished driver. Steve F1 is trying to pull away from this 4th place battle at the moment, and we can see again, as I mentioned, on the track map, that SGP is opening up that gap to Demon R. So, I think Nally just had a massive tank slapper into turn 4, and that's put Twilight all over the back of him. Twilight up the inside into the fast chicane, manages to make the move as Drew is coming under pressure from Formula Gary.
Yeah, so Drew was knocked out earlier by Formula Gary and he'll be quite cheesed off, but Formula Gary's back up the inside. Are they both going for the pit lane? No. Drew wanted to get in the pit lane, but unfortunately Formula Gary was in the way there.
That he was, and I wasn't looking because I've just received a text message. So SRI into 6th place with Formula Gary right behind him. So plenty of pit stops are going to be happening throughout the course of this race. But as I mentioned at the start, SGP, oh, is that Twilight up the inside of Formula Gary? It is. I think he may have just nudged him a little bit, so he's kind of let Formula Gary retake the position, but he's going to do a Hamilton on Raikkonen from Spa and go past him straight away if he can. Up the inside into turn 2, side by side they go. Who's braver on the brakes? Who can make the corner? And I tell you what, Gary, I was going to say, had a nice line through there, but he has just run a little bit wide. Twilight being a bit cautious, and that's put Bunsell all over the back of him.
Yeah, I think Bunsell's on fresh tyres now, so expect him to blast through past these guys on a straight, because, mind you, Twilight, he's having a little look, but Gary's going wide, I think.
You know what, though? I like Twilight's tactic there. He had a look, made Gary think about it. Gary saw that he would maybe come in, and Gary ran off the track. Now, it's good all round. It's good from Twilight because he's made the other driver make a mistake, and in a way, it's good from Gary. He spotted that Twilight was there. He didn't just go for the corner. It's unfortunate that he's made a mistake on the exit and ran wide, but it shows good improvement as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, Steve F1 now coming under pressure from James Hulkenberg side by side into the final corner.
Is Hulkenberg going to hit him? Oh, it's a little haircut.
Yeah, you got to give him a little love kiss as you go past, but there were no shoving him so wide that Steve F1 had to completely back out there.
Or that he was in a completely different country. Okay, Twilight still, no, he's not still, he's now passing SRI. He's attacked him nice and quickly. Bunsell, is he going to have a look into turn 1? No, thinks better of it, and that's wise. SRI has ran wide though. That's going to compromise him. He may lose 2 places here because Rich Blues is hugging Bunsell's rear end.
Yeah, this is going from bad to worse for SRI, because when he came out of the pit lane, he was with James Hulkenberg. James Hulkenberg's now in 3rd place, and SRI's down in 10th at the moment.
Formula Gary taking an interesting line through turn 2 there. Managed not to hit anybody though, so that's good to see. Where's SRI going? SRI! He just seemed to...
I don't think he was looking where he was going now.
Or if he was, well, maybe it was just the car. It's never driven round corners like this before, so it's got on a straight and it's got a little bit too happy. Either way, he's back onto the back of this pack. The fight for 6th as it is at the moment. So
Bunsell is going to run wide. No, he's managed to hold that. So yeah, that Mustang's handling a lot better than it has done in the previous races, but in the background it looks like Formula Gary are going for another dive bomb again, but he's managed not to smash Rich Blues off the circuit.
Which is good to see. And not Bunsell, sorry, I saw Mustang and instantly thought of Bunsell. Bunsell's run a little bit wide here, but it was Drew in the background going side by side with Formula Gary. Rich Blues trying to get a little bit closer. I mean, Rich Blues has done quite well here, as I say that he goes off the track, but he has literally hugged Bunsell's bumper for the last 3 or 4 laps and just gaining and gaining and gaining on the cars ahead as Steve F1 runs wide at turn 1 as Dave the Harp is trying to apply the pressure. We saw Hulkenberg pass Steve a lap or so ago, and now Dave the Harp makes the move. I'm wondering if Steve F1's tyres are pretty much shot, because I think he was the first of the drivers to pit, you know. He pitted before Demon Harp.
Right, okay. So, Dave the Harp from wide though. That's just cocked up his exit of turn 2.
That he has. It's going to give Steve a decent opportunity, but if Steve's tyres are on the way out, Dave the Harp will absolutely annihilate him in the corners. Steve, I thought he was going to go defensive, but he's just decided to go for the racing line, which he can do, and Dave the Harp can't do anything about it before the corner as Twilight is trying to open up a gap to Drew, who's behind him now. So Drew, Bunsell, they're all still fighting back there.
Yeah, that's a 4-way battle going on, and it's going to be a 5-way one soon. But yeah, Dave the Harp, can he apply some more pressure to Steve F1's clearly the quicker car, but just needs to make sure once he gets past that he absolutely nails it and don't make a mistake, because Steve F1's almost in the gravel. Yeah,
I mean, Hulkenberg, after passing Steve F1, has been able to pull away, so Dave the Harp needs to do that as well, because everyone behind him is catching him up. As Bunsell having a look up the inside of Drew, is he? He does, but Drew covers it off, and I think we've got Steve F1 into the pits. I saw a car going into the pits. I'm just not sure exactly who it was. Dave the Harp's in the pits as well.
Right, okay, so Dave the Harp realised that wasn't getting as far up the road as he wanted. He's gone for new tyres as Twilight up the inside of Steve F1 into turn 1.
Yeah, so Steve F1's trying to take his tyres longer then, and it's compromising him massively. He's losing places left, right and centre now as the police are hunting him down. And 3 wide behind him, Nally, Rich Blues and Bunsell. So Rich Blues still behind Bunsell, but Nally's managed to sneak ahead.
Yeah, the best thing for any of the drivers to do is once a Mustang comes alongside, you might as well just jump in their slipstream, because they're like a bus just pushing the air round, and you get a lovely bit of slipstream. And Steve F1's in the slipstream of the Mustang. You can see there how much more top end speed he can get out of the Audi.
Yeah, definitely. Nally locking up the brakes a little bit, getting a bit twitchy. But Drew runs deep into the gravel. Not a nice place to go off. And SRI getting in on this fight as well now. It's all kicking off as SGP. He's heading into the pit lanes. He's actually pitting before Demon R this time. So Demon R taking his second set of tyres longer on this particular stint.
Right, and we're hearing that James Hulkenberg's also going to be staying out as the pack at the back are getting very, very intense. Rich Blue side by side with Bunsell, and so is Drew with I think that's with
SRI. It was SRI one massively wide.
I thought that Juan Pablo Montoya was driving then.
He's in the crowd, mate. Is Juan Pablo. So yeah, SRI did run a little bit wide as Aston Martin takes on Mustang into turn 1. Drew realises it's there, that compromises the both of them. SRI coming around the outside of Nally though, so it's going to be a straight shot between the Corvette and the Aston Martin. Now I think it's the first time we've seen the Corvette on track this season. It's an interesting car, it has plenty of power. Oh, get a little bit messy in the background. Dave the Harp trying to find a bit of space. Rich Blues taking evasive around Nally. Formula Gary taking evasive up the inside, and Dave the Harp taking evasive by hitting the brakes and getting well out of it.
Yeah, Dave the Harp and SRI pitted only a lap and a half ago, and SRI was behind Dave the Harp, so SRI's managed to overtake Dave the Harp on the outlap, and really Dave the Harp needs to get on with this because SRI's pulling away. He's in 5th and Dave the Harp's in 8th.
That is very, very true. So Drew then, on his debut, currently sitting in 4th place, under attack from SRI. So Drew's not been doing too bad as that Formula Gary runs wide. Drew and SRI going side by side though through the fast left and right. That's going to allow Nally the opportunity to catch up, and Dave the Harp's already trying to have a look on the back of Nally. So this is going to get close down into the final couple of corners.
Yeah, Nally's gone defensive, but there is Damon R, the race leader. I believe he's only pitted once, and Steve's pitted twice.
Yep, that is true. As Nally and Drew went side by side into the final corner, and I don't think it's paid off for Drew as Dave the Harp still trying to find a way past. So he's going to have a look up the inside into turn 1. Is he going to be able to make the move? No, he can't. Oh, but Nally's ended up going straight on. It may be a brake failure for Nally there.
I think, well, either that or a brain failure. But yeah, behind we've got. I'm trying to work out who that is. Is it Dave the App side by side? Trying to work out who the other car is. I think it's Steve. Yes, Steve. So yeah, Steve's gone long on his tyres and he's pitted.
The Twilight's just given Drew a nice little nudge around the corner. So we've got Audi versus Audi, Mustang versus Mustang, Audi versus Audi in this little battle of cars. Always Twilight trying to attack the back of the Mustangs. Drew goes to the inside, tags the back of Steve F1. Steve's done well to keep it on the track though. I think Drew may have realised he made a little bit of a mistake there, because it looks like he's trying to slow down a little bit, but he's surrounded.
Yeah, if he he's trying to let Steve through, which is done, but in doing so he's let Bunsell through as well. Yeah,
and that's decent from Bunsell of basically taking full advantage of that situation. There's nothing wrong with a driver doing that. I mean, it is in the sort of one of the DGT rules to, if you do knock somebody off or overtake somebody unfairly, give them the position back. That got a little bit
just
close.
So you know as well, James Hulkenberg pitted on the previous lap and he's come out in front of this gaggle, so that was crucial. He doesn't have to mess about overtaking anybody, he's just managed to come out in front Hopefully he'll be able to pull away.
Oh, I think Twilight was looking to try and make a move on Steve F1, but Bunsell was next to him, and it's not very easy to move a Mustang out of the way. As Steve F1 locks up, goes deep, so did SRI, so did Drew. So it's going to compact them all down into turn 2 as Formula Gary having a look on the back of Drew, but Drew is getting boxed in by the other Mustang and Steve F1.
Yeah. You see, running wide in turn 1 makes you believe that you're carrying more speed, but really, once you're out of that pain, you're going slower.
Yeah, and SGP, having made his second pit stop a few laps ago, is now all on the back of Demon R, who has not pitted for the second time yet. So his tyres are going to be on the way out, as SGP's is still in good condition. So this is a fight for the lead, and it looks like SGP is going to have an easy move. Or is Demon R going for the pit lane, or is he just defending the penultimate corner? I think he's going for the pit lane.
Oh yeah, so you could just see there, even on that straight, the SGP's tyres were just so super. Oh, he's just clobbered that inside curb.
That he has. He was a bit fast and furious around there. Likes his sausages though, does Steve?
Yeah, but he's got a face full of
sausage.
I wasn't going to say a face full of sausage. I'm going to say like a. He probably knocked all his fillings out of his teeth with that sausage.
That's worse. As SRI goes into the pits. What was it? A frozen sausage? Anyway, let's
just
move
a
on.
Really huge
It was a salmon.
It were a big black pudding.
Oh.
So here we go. We've got Steve F1 all over the back of Dave the Art. Dave the Art's on wide in turn 1. He's gone on the red paint there, and that's just compromises exit. Dave the Art might lose another place here to Drew.
Yep. I must admit, I've been impressed on how well Drew's done in this race, given it is his first race on GT Sport. He's very new to the game, as Bunsell and Formula Gary going side by side. I think Gary may have just given Rich Blues a little bit of a nudge, as Drew has made the move on Dave the Harp. So Dave the Harp coming under pressure now from Rich Blues and Formula Gary. Interesting though, James, at the last race we did see a lot of people in the Renaults. In this race, a lot of people in the Audis. There seems to be a bit of a trend going on.
Yeah, I think it would.
Twilight into the barrier.
Yeah, I think it just works out that whichever car seems to be the fastest in the group, the majority of the drivers are picking that one. But you can see there that Dave the Arp in that Red Bull Audi at the Red Bull ring, he's trying to pull out all the stops. Oh, it looks like Bunsell there just turned in on a driver, didn't realise that Formula Gary was on the inside there. Yeah,
that is very, very true. So, how many laps have we got left in this race? We've got about 4 laps to go, I believe. No, actually, I think it's more in this race. It's a 40-minute race, as I think that's Dave the Harp into the pits. Yes, it is, as Twilight runs massively deep. So Dave Harp and Bunsell are both into the pits then.
Yeah, so I think Dave the Arp were realising there that his tyres were absolutely shot. He managed to be in 4th place, but just the tyres were not going to hang on much longer, and if he'd have gone another lap, it was probably going to end up at the back.
Yeah, that's true. Drew having a look at Rich Blues now. So as I was mentioning, it is a 40-minute race, and we're on about 27 minutes. So we've got about another 12 and a half minutes to go until like the final lap flag is shown as Formula Gary. He obviously doesn't like the fuzz, does he?
Well, either that or yeah, I don't know. It's just remarkable how much he's if he just braked another 5 meters earlier.
Minutes?
Well, ideally, yeah, 5 minutes earlier, then Drew wouldn't have been spinning round. But yeah, the State Police getting a bit of a hammering today, but SRI's out there on fresh tyres, and yeah, the State Police getting forced off there by Formula Gary once again.
Yeah, I think maybe that copper pulled him over for drink driving.
Yeah, I think he has been having a few too many shots, but I think SRI is wanting to...
I can't believe you said shots. You should have said Guinness.
Guinness, yeah, sorry. But we're not product placement. We've got
not product placement. What's all over Hulkenberg's car as Drew heads into the pits.
Yeah, Formula Formula Gary now coming under pressure from SRI. SRI treating the back end of Formula Gary like the back of a donkey.
Aye, that he is. And just to let you all know, my doorbell could go at any moment. I say doorbell, my commentary dogs. Oh my god.
I was just about to say my dog might start that when it comes to my door, so hopefully that won't happen. But yeah, we're side by side now. I think that is, I'm trying to work out, it's SRI with Formula Gary. Is managing to go up the inside, but Formula Gary is going too wide there.
Yeah, it's like you say. I mean, I do know that Demon R, he put he did like a sort of hot lap guide around this circuit and mentioned about the braking points and saying if you brake after this point, you will never make the corner. And for some drivers, it is very Dave the Hart getting a little bit eager, but that's now made Formula Gary run a little bit wide as Bunsell having a look on the back of Rich Blues. Now, I have spoken to Rich Blues before, and I've got to say he didn't have a Jamaican accent. So I don't know what his Jamaican connection is. Don't do it, James. Do not do it.
Yeah, Davey out up the inside of Steve F1. It's not Steve.
It's not Steve. It's a completely different car.
SRI and Davey have been in a race-long battle, and it's still going hammer and tongs into the penultimate corner.
That is SRI going a little bit wide though. Dave the Harp taking a very tight line around the penultimate corner. Bunsell getting in on this as well as SRI now runs a little bit wide. Dave the Harp's done really well there to take that line, but Bunsell has done even better as they now go 3 wide down into turn 1. But Dave the Harp's got the straight line speed.
Yeah, and as well, I think even if Bunsell was to keep his foot in, he would be absolutely slow as a brick out of turn 1.
Yeah, he would have to slow down so much to make the corner. I mean, he did have to slow down early, so it's nice to see that he spotted that coming and was able to avoid it. But that has put him under pressure now from Rich Blues. So as you said, James, he was slow out of turn 1, and that's now put him under pressure as Dave the Harp trying to apply pressure to the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, definitely. So in that blue and yellow Audi, he's definitely pushing like mad, and Steve F1's not too far up in front as well.
Yeah, now Steve F1 is in the picture. Oh, SRI runs a little bit deep, hits the side of Twilight, but I think he's backed out of it, and that's compromised him a lot. Twilight's retaking the position as SGP is into the pits again for another set of the super soft tyre. Demon R continuing on. I'm thinking Demon R, after pitting early, has taken a much longer second stint, so he's technically doesn't have to pit again, and that's to put himself in the lead of the race, which he now will be. The problem is that SGP is going to come out of the pits right behind him on a brand new set of super soft tyres. So yeah, I don't think Demon R is going to be able to fight this one off, James, because old tyres versus new super softs, there's just no comparison.
No, and still with another 8 minutes and 30 seconds to go, there's no chance that I believe that Demon R will be able to keep SGP behind, because even with all your defensive skills, he's just going to have traction you every single time out of turn 1 and turn 2.
Yep, that is very, very true. So we'll keep an eye on that battle as it progresses. Steve F1 has come under a lot of pressure over the last lap and a half. Bunsell is ahead of him. Rich Blues is ahead of him. Dave the Harp has got ahead of him as well. Yeah, Dave the Harp's opening up a little bit of a gap as Rich Blues goes massively deep there. Maybe being Jamaican, he just saw a beach and went for it, got there, realised it's not a beach, it's gravel, and thought, sod this, I'm going to carry on.
Yeah, I think he's probably listening to a bit of Bob Marley, probably thinking, you know...
shot the sheriff, that's going to get Drew worried.
Either that or don't worry about a thing, or the breaking point. But here comes Steve SGP. He's coming up behind Demon R, and I think this is just going to be a breeze pass. Demon R, I think the only way he could have possibly kept him behind is stick on the racing line and shove him up towards the inside of turn 1. But yeah, SRI going all the way around the outside, and that is how you race, side by side.
SGP also went round the outside there.
Oh, the brain's on autopilot. But,
no woman, no cry.
I'm gonna come up with some new Bob Marley songs like don't worry about losing your memory. But here comes Drew out of turn 1 and Dave the Arts in P3, so that's put James Hulkenberg. He's pitted and he's come out in P5, so he should be coming up behind these two pretty shortly.
That is very, very true. Yeah, Hulkenberg's got quite lucky with his timing of his pit stops, coming out just ahead of a pack of cars rather than coming out in the pack of cars as Drew is giving Dave the Harp a decent fight here down towards turn 3.
Yeah, so Dave the Harp on the racing line, but Drew is going to be on the marbles in the braking zone, which could make the traction out of this corner quite awkward.
Yeah, Dave the Harp looking for a little bit of a switch back, and he's going to make it work. That tight line, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being on the inside, but you kind of want to be on the inside as far to the left as you can to minimise. Are they going to make it? They are going to make it.
The Art's going to have to really get late on the brakes here.
Oh, I think he was trying to look for a little bit of a sort of switchback, and couldn't quite make it work. And that's now put Hulkenberg on the back of these two. But that's decent driving from Drew and from Dave the Harp there. And there was something funny I was going to say a moment ago. I completely forgot on what it was now.
Well, Dave the Art's going for the pit lane, so that's another easy picking for James Hulkenberg, and I think Formula Gary's not far behind James Hulkenberg either.
No, it's Twilight. No. Formula Gary went into the pits.
It's a timing screen. Bloody hell. But yeah, Twilight. I don't believe he's got newer tyres than James.
Yeah, Hulkenberg attacking Drew. James, I've got the words for the song for you. Are you ready? Don't worry about a ding.
Or a dong.
Or a dent.
James Hulkenberg having to defend there, managed to get up the inside of Twilight, and Twilight, he's just been left for dust now.
Maybe he was in the sunlight.
Possibly.
Some people get that.
Drew is having a look at Steve F1. He's closing in. It's weird that Steve F1 had such a good race start. He were up in 3rd and now he's down in 6th.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I remembered what I was going to mention. It wasn't funny, actually. It was just that Dave the Harp actually qualified in P4, but because he didn't get back on the tracking time and get past the end of Sector 1 in qualifying as Demon R, he's realised there's nothing he can do about SGP. He's got room behind him for another pit stop, brand new set of tyres, comfortable to the end as SGP mounting the sausage again.
Yeah, he definitely loves, losing teeth with sausages. Demon Art is out of the pit lane with a massive gap back to the gaggle behind James Hulkenberg.
Yeah, so going back to Dave the Harp, he qualified in 4th, didn't get back out on tracking time in qualifying, so he ended up starting from, I think it was 2nd last. So Dave the Harp has had a fight on his hands all the way through this race as we're 3 wide into turn 1. SRI up the inside, but it's a very tight line. Both Mustangs end up going off the track, and to be fair, it's easy to do that when you are 3 wide in that particular corner because nobody wants to particularly give up the corner.
Yeah, Rich Blue's got a good run on all 3 of them. I think he's going to be able to overtake all 3.
So 3 wide now into turn 2, so let's see who benefits here. It's a lovely move from Rich Blues, and Drew have kind of forced out wide. SRI up the inside again, trying to fight back on Rich Blues, but Rich Blues has got a car next to him. This is frantic. It's chaotic. Rich Blues has managed to recover that somehow as the Terminator is forcing his way through.
That one was that was Drew. Drew were sliding in there and give Rich Blues a good old smack. So all that hard work for Rich Blues just gone up in smoke.
Yeah, it was the Terminator overtaking Rich Blues though, so I know what I was on about. You're all right. My brain ain't gone. But
Dave Yard, he's on fresh tyres, so he should be able to get in on this.
He's trying to. Drew massively misses his braking point. He obviously doesn't like the fact there's another Mustang out there. Either that or it's just payback. I don't know what for. But anyway, it's all getting a little bit frantic. Who's into the pits? We're going to be on to the last lap of the race soon.
That's mentally. He were nailed on for third place. Why would you do such a thing?
Maybe because these 6 here are all going a little bit mental around turn 1. The police have created a bit of a roadblock as SRI, formerly Gary, go side by side with Drew, and then you've got Bunsell and Rich Blues with absolutely nowhere to go ahead of them. 3 wide into turn 2. Can any of them actually make the corner? Formerly Gary's up the inside, but he can't stay on the track. SRI makes the move. Drew is trying to still fend off formerly Gary, but in a way, formerly Gary should perhaps back out of that one because there was no way he was making that corner as Bunsell is behind SRI. 3 wide again, but SRI's going straight on.
Whoa!
Straight on into the gravel. The Terminator.
I'll be back.
I don't think he will, because I think he may have just retired. But now, who is that? Steve F1 ahead of Dave the Harp, ahead of Bunsell. And I think the leader is now just starting what will become the last lap of the race. So these guys have got a lap and a half to do.
James Hulkenberg just overtook 2 drivers. I think that was formerly Gary and I'm trying to work out the other driver. He's overtaken the white Mustang. I just forgot who was driving that one.
Just give me 1 sec. We interrupt this broadcast for a message from our sponsors. Check out our Tell You What TV F1 podcast. Do it now! Sorry about that, James. My doorbell is literally going right now. My brother is stood outside in the rain as we are now on to the last lap of the race. So unfortunately, he's got a minute and a half to wait. Sorry, John.
You're gonna have to go, back into this and just edit a bit of a move as James Hulkenberg's having a little bit of a look up the inside of Bunsell.
That he is. Can Hulkenberg make the move? It looks like he can, side by side with Hulkenberg and Dave the Harp. No, Dave the Harp is ahead now. Hulkenberg, as you said, he kind of gave up a 3rd place finish a few moments ago. And you know what, James? I can't do it to my brother. You're going to have to take us to the end of the race.
Oh, James Hulkenberg trying it round the outside of Dave. No, Dave's run wide, and this could be the move for James Hulkenberg. I'm not too sure. Yeah, side by side as SGP comes round the final corner to win the race at the Red Bull Ring. Very nice job there from SGP. Next to come over the line is Demon R for P2. He'll be coming away with 17 points. SGP with 20, so there's a 3-point gain for SGP, but side by side now James Hulkenberg and Dave the Harp as Twilight's coming round the final corner in P3.
He's done
James
well
Hulkenberg
then.
Managed to get in front of Dave the Harp. Can he get in front of Steve F1 as they head towards the line? Side by side, no, Steve F1 blocks it, and I think Steve F1's managed to get P4.
He has. He's absolutely frantic across the finish line, but what a race we've had today for race 8 of 9. Let's take a look at the finishing order. Well done, James. So DGT League SGP did take the victory, meaning the championship fight goes on to the last race of the season, where DGT League SGP will need to win the race and Demon R would need to finish lower than 10th for SGP to take the title off him. Demon R did finish in 2nd place, but nothing he could do about his brother rival for the win. Twilight, a fantastic race all the way through to come home in 3rd place, with Steve F1 having to fight hard for 4th place. James Hulkenberg did well with an interesting strategy to take 5th, with Dave the Harp 6th, Gary 7th, Bunsell in 8th, Rich Blues in 9th, Drew in 10th, Nally in 11th, and unfortunately DGT League SRI retired from the race. So congratulations once again to DGT League SGP for taking another victory. He has been a force to be reckoned with in that Audi, and his liveries have been a little bit special too. Now, if you are interested in getting involved in the Dynamic GT League, check out their Facebook page or their YouTube channel, or send a message directly to DGT_SGP or _SRI on PlayStation Network. You could also join their community on PlayStation Network. So let's take a look at the championship order. So Demonar leads the way in first place on 148 points with one race to go. Second place is DGT League SGP, 14 points behind him, and it's 20 points for a race win, meaning SGP needs to win the race and Demonar is going to have to finish lower than 10th for SGP to take the title. In third comfortably is Steve F1, and in fourth we've then got a battle between Twilight, Callum Paul Banks, DGT League SRI and Aceman for that fourth spot, with not many points between them at all. Rich Blues is in 8th place on 56 points and James Hulkenberg in 9th on 44. Nally is in 10th place on 28 points, only 1 point ahead of Formula Gary. Jake Bunsell 1 point behind Gary on 26, with My Bad in 13th place on 23 points. Dave the Harp on 18 and Drew on 6, with Kiwi still to make his debut. So make sure you join us for the final race of the season at Cirque de la Sarthe with the chickens, for what could be a very interesting race indeed. And some information for the DGT League drivers. The league owners will be releasing info soon about the next season in Dynamic GT League. However, I do know there is going to be a 2-week break over the Christmas period, so we can all get absolutely hammered. I'm sure they'll do a bit of driving in between, and I'm hoping to get them on next week's broadcast as well to see what they've got to say about how this season has gone. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.